Hello everyone! Today's video is a month overdue. This is old news at this point. I'm definitely filming this late, but I couldn't resist. I simply had to add my voice to the already over-existing noise on this product. But in July, Becca Cosmetics released the Becca Zero No Pigment Virtual Foundation. And it definitely caused quite a stir in the beauty community. Let's just take a moment to revel in the beautiful packaging that is this virtual foundation. And I wanted to give you guys my 2 bits and thoughts on the Becca Zero Virtual No Pigment Foundation. Now, before we get into the product itself, let us just look up the definition of a foundation, shall we? According to Wikipedia, the home of my university experience, foundation is a liquid or powder makeup applied to the face to create an even, uniform color to the complexion, cover flaws, and sometimes change the natural skin tone. So by definition, the Becca No Pigment Foundation is not a foundation at all. Let us address the elephant in the room. This is a primer, and when they were marketing the product, like in the description, how to use the product, it says to apply after the skincare is fully absorbed. It doesn't even say to apply it over top of a primer, which, considering they have some priming products, that's a good time. And usually, like on the Sephora webpage, it'll plug their other products nicely, being like, use this over the Becca Priming Light Filter, whatever their primer is called. And then what the product is supposed to do, it's supposed to have a cooling effect on the skin. It's supposed to hydrate the skin. They really pump out the fact that it has tons of hyaluronic acid in here. It's supposed to give a little matte finish to the skin. And it says it smooths the skin and blurs the look of imperfections while providing lasting hydration. So it kind of just does everything that a primer does or is expected to do, and if we're treating this like a primer, as it really is, it promises great things. So when this first launched, I honestly had 2 conflicting opinions. One, my eyes rolled to the back of my head. I'm like, this is obviously just a PR move. Like, if it's no pigment, it's not a foundation by my definition and what I use a foundation for. But on the other hand, I hadn't tried the product yet. Maybe it really did have some cool kind of skin blurring technology, and maybe it does make your skin look great if you're having maybe minimal breakouts and you're having a better skin day, but you do just want something to smooth over the skin. You know, the promises could have been cool. Maybe they really came out with a new innovative product here, but it seems to have fallen a bit flat. It's very clearly a primer. The response from most people, like the reviews of the product itself, the people on YouTube who have reviewed it, they're like, okay, it's a primer. And so if we're treating it like a primer, if we're pretending like this is a primer, I wanted to see how it performs in comparison to the other primers that I love. Because I have a lot of primers that are amazing, hydrating products that work so well for me under makeup. And at $47 Canadian for this little guy right here, you know, you better hope that it's doing something to warrant that price if it is going to be an amazing primer. So I still wanted to test it out for you guys today. You know, Becca's been a brand that kind of how I'm feeling similarly towards some other brands. They've just kind of fallen off the map for me. I actually, out of curiosity, just went to see what products I had from Becca in my collection. And the only product that's existing in my collection today from Becca is the Opal highlighter. And this has just been, my God, like their highlighters were like the beacon of the makeup world when I first started getting into YouTube. Like the Opal, the Champagne Pop era with Jaclyn Hill, like you couldn't get your hands on a new Becca product fast enough. Their blushes were so beautiful. They used to come out with some limited edition palettes. So many things that they've done have been so phenomenal, and I do hope that they're able to make their way back, and I am still excited to see what they come out with, and hopefully they'll kind of make their way back to their identity, or, you know, really embrace a new one and come back strong. I have high hopes for that, but as far as like this launch, I was like, no, that's gonna be a no for me. I didn't even want to try the highlighter. They came out with the highlighter with this virtual foundation as well, and I was like, I'm not even gonna bother wasting my money on that because I have many other glycerol balms that I can put on my face that do the same thing. But guys, that's kind of my blab. I'm so curious to know what your thoughts are on this release from Becca. What did you guys think when it first came out? Again, I know that my response is delayed, but I just simply had to talk about it. I was so curious. And yeah, let's dive in. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. This is the lovely little gel-like product in the bin, in the tin, in the jar. And I applied this on the back of my hand earlier. It did give such a rush of coolness. I'm kind of excited to actually put it on my face and see how my skin feels, because my skin, when I'm using a primer, the only thing I'm going for is hydration and possibly coolness too, because I have such sensitive, irritable, dry skin. So in the promises as a primer, this actually sounds right up my alley. I also do have spots where I get quite shiny, so having that little matte finish does seem miraculous to me. I like the idea. Let's take some and put it on the skin. It says to apply with your fingertips. So I'm just gonna rub that on. It feels nice. It really blends out so nicely. It does not, like, by the looks of it in the jar, you would think that it would be something that would pill and ball up as you apply it onto the skin, but it actually just smooths over so nicely. I'm really curious to see if it has a blurring effect on the larger pores in the center of my face. And, you know, truth be told, like, again, I wouldn't have called this foundation. I don't know how many times I can say that. But for me, on an everyday makeup level, if I'm having a better skin day like I am today, I don't go for a heavy foundation anyway. I usually use a much lighter tinted moisturizer style product. And if I want extra coverage, I do look to my concealers for the coverage. So the idea of kind of embracing the skin, perhaps encouraging people to let their skin breathe, going towards this more lighter coverage lifestyle or zero coverage, you know, I appreciate the idea. But I also, me personally, I have a lot of like red patches and veins and whatnot, and I don't often like to put too much coverage, but I do want a little bit of something, even like the lightest bit of coverage, just to even out my skin tone. So I just applied that layer. It does feel very good. It feels like I have cold water splashing onto my face. I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I don't know if it's just like placebo effect or not, but I do find that something has happened. It's definitely, I wouldn't even say matte, but it's just slightly dialed down whatever kind of shine that I had going on. I can't say that I'm experiencing any blurring effect. My pores are still very much visible. Like, if this was able to hydrate my skin and kind of blur my pores, that would be really cool, which is what it says it does. But my pores are still chilling. They're still there. And though it feels hydrating, it's not like satisfying the dryness around my mouth like some of my other more hydrating products do, like my Smashbox Primerizer, the Vichy Mineral 89 Serum, Bobbi Brown Face Base, Welletta Skin Food. Like, all of these hydrating products that I use just like plump me with such moisture. This one's like, it has a cooling effect, but it's not satisfying the hydration that I need. Let's go ahead and go in with concealer to add a bit more coverage. I'm gonna take my, I literally can never remember what this is called. I take some of this on the blueness of my under eyes. And then I'll take my FORD Concealing Pen and just pop this into the center of my face. And I mean, yeah, like on all these giant red patches that I have on my face, and that I usually go to, you know, some kind of covering face product to even that out a little bit. I'm gonna take my brush and just pat that in. I wanna see, yeah, like, yeah, it really just did nothing in terms of blurring on my pores. Like, my pores are still very much there. And my skin, oh no, guys. I don't know if you can see it through the camera, but yeah, no, my skin is like very, very dry looking around my face. It's like crying for moisture around my mouth here, which is where I definitely usually use my more hydrating products. Oh my god, it's like literally drying off of my chin here. Ugh. I mean, it promised hydration. I had high hopes. Let's spray a little bit of Fix Plus. I'm just gonna do like the most minimal little makeup look right now. I'm gonna take my NARS Laguna bronzer and just bronze up the skin. It's not bad, honestly. I think that someone with like more normal skin would actually find that this works really great as a hydrating primer, but I think because I have such dry skin, like, even though all of the messaging and marketing of the product promises hydration, it just, yeah, like I'm literally getting the tightness and tingly dry feeling around my mouth, and that's no good for me. I just did the most minimal little 2-minute makeup look, but I figured because we're talking about Becca, I'll just go in with Opal. And, you know, God, I honestly haven't used this in so long. I forgot how intense it was. Ooh, I was gonna say we'll put a very little bit, but yeah, she still packs a punch. Such a classic highlight. I just need Becca to like pull back the reins and just go back to the train of thought that was the highlights here and bring us some more of this magic, because really, they're just so good. I wish they would do more things like this. So for my final thoughts on this little Becca Zero, not hydrating enough for me. I didn't notice much of a blurring effect on my pores. They're still very visible. I think I could have just gotten the same effect by literally putting my lotion, concealer on, and then doing some translucent powder. It didn't really do much for me. I really want to hear your guys' thoughts. For those of you who have tried it, is there anyone who liked it, and what did you like about the product? I want to hear from you. I just personally don't think that this was marketed properly, and I think that the price point is really high for the very little or nil that it did for my skin. I was really excited to test it out though. I was kind of hoping that it would be some magical priming product that I would have really loved. And though I don't think my skin looks bad right now, I'm also just having a good skin day, and it's not really probably with much thanks to this. I really do hope that Becca makes a comeback and blesses us all with more products like the highlighters. Those are kind of my thoughts, guys. That's my little first test and impression on the Becca Zero No Pigment Virtual Foundation. It's been a while since I've done just like a video on one product, but I feel like because we're on this good, you know, 3 vid a week uploading train right now, I'm happy to do it. If there's any other products that you guys want me to test a dedicated review on, please do let me know what products you guys want to see me review next. Those are my thoughts, a little chat for you on this fine day. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon for a new video. Bye!